After 9 weeks, we are finally here. It is the finale. It is the end of the road for season 1. It is episode 10 of From, and it is called Oh, the Places We'll Go. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. And what do you make of the episode title, Oh, the Places We'll Go?
It's a nice wee title.
Yeah, I mean, what is it like regarding though? I mean, is it talking about like?
I think it's the song that comes on the jukebox at the end. Oh, the places we go.
Oh, is that the song? I didn't realise that.
The song, yeah. So there you go, mate. That's your theory debunked. Good night.
Yeah, I was thinking it was maybe something else. It was something to do with locations that perhaps the faraway tree sent people, or the places that the town folks are willing to go in order to try and escape and get home. But
what about this for a tactic? We just keep jumping in the faraway tree and hopefully end up home.
That could work, like, aye.
Or you end up in Victor's closet, one of the two.
Or as we've seen what happened to Boyd in this episode, you end up God knows where.
A fucking chimney.
So we begin the episode with the townspeople. They're still gathering as much wiring as they possibly can to power the radio tower. They're basically putting all of their hopes and efforts into this radio tower, and I think it's a good idea though. I mean, it's probably the best bet that they've got. I mean, it beats doing whatever the colony house would. I mean, what else would you rather use the colony house for? Trying to power this radio tower and reaching like an outside source that you can possibly get help from, or just sit about what the colony house do and drink all day?
Exactly, but you know what? In this episode, it made me realise that this show, I think, is heavily influenced by Lost, because in the Lost season 1 finale, you essentially have the entire group come together to build a raft so they can escape the island, and I feel like that's what the radio tower is.
So that's season 1 of
Yeah,
Lost?
that's season 1, and then you've also got like another group doing its own thing, which is kind of Sarah and Boyd. I see a lot of similarities.
Is there a different group in Lost doing something else?
Yeah, there's loads of different. Well, I'll say there's loads of different groups. The plane split in two, so therefore you've got one group on one part of the island, another group on the other part of the island.
Was there both parts actually survive the plane crash?
Some of them do, aye. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we'll.
Michelle Rodriguez is on the other part of the plane. Will she be on this island though? I don't know.
I don't know.
This location.
We speaking of locations, we now go to the Matthews house, and Julie is willing to tell Ethan a story. He's playing with his little, I don't know what you call those wee things, his wee like jelly finger sticks.
Yeah, I think you used to get them in magazines. I don't think you could actually buy them separately, so I think it was like it came with a magazine.
Yeah, possibly.
Really finger puppets? I don't know what you call them, man.
Yeah, but he's playing with the finger puppets, but he says he's old enough to tell his own story. Then we get Jade bursting in. Jade bursts in, and we actually said in the last review that he revealed the electricity, but it's actually in the beginning of this episode where he shows the Matthews family how you can power up electricity.
Well, I guess he found out last episode.
He found out, and then at the beginning of this episode he reveals it to the Matthews family, and he goes, "Don't worry about it, Teacup. I'm sure you would have figured it out sooner or later," to Jim.
Again, he bursts in the house again.
Yeah, he's got a thing for bursting into the Matthews' house, like.
Hello?
But I suppose they would rather Jade burst in during the day than the monsters burst in at night. That's the way I look at it, so you know, it's not too bad. In the forest, we then see Officer Boyd and our Sheriff Boyd, Officer Boyd. We'll call him Boydie. We see Boydie wake up with Sarah, and they go outside, and they are surrounded by webs, big, massive, white fucking webs. And I do not like spiders, so I'm not a massive fan of anything to do like with web-related scenery. And
I'm just glad we didn't see a big 100-foot spider, which I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, that would have been lame, wouldn't it have? I mean,
lame?
Aye.
What do you mean lame as in I don't like spiders, or lame as in what the fuck's that then here?
A bit of both.
Well, maybe not 100-foot, but maybe what about an 8-legged freak sort of spider?
Well, I'm glad we didn't see that either. So, yeah, they look around, they're like, what the hell is going on here? Then we go back to the diner. Jim and Jade are basically telling everyone how this electricity works, how they can power it to the radio tower, and how they're going to do it tonight, and hopefully contact the outside world and make a rescue, I guess, from this place. It's at this point, I wouldn't say you get introduced to a lot more characters, but you basically just see a bunch of characters in the background that we haven't seen before up to this point. So I'm assuming most of these people are extras. We won't see them again.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, were they at the Colony House? Were they at town? We don't really fucking know, but...
I don't like this, though. I've actually got a problem with this, because I just think if you're going to have characters in the background, at least introduce them. That's what I liked about The Walking Dead. In Season 1, like, you didn't get background characters. You might have got people that were in the original camp that maybe got, like, one line, but you still knew who they were. See when a show will just bring in... I'm not saying it's a deal breaker by any means, but see when they randomly hit... See when this diner's full and, like, more than half of them you don't even know.
But see, you know what the thing is? Like, 14 people died at the Colony House, and by name you couldn't name many. Fuck, you probably could only name 2 at the 14.
Yeah, but it just kind of bothers me that all of a sudden we have these random people here.
Yeah, and I think it takes away for the ending of this episode.
I would just rather have people we don't... I would just rather people we know, even if it's a smaller amount.
No,
I didn't see it necessary to be so many people in this diner, but there is.
Because realistically, like, say like you want to give these people more screen time in season 2, it's like, well, why the fuck were you just in one background scene in season 1? Stuff like that sucks.
Well, the fact they didn't even say any words enough and no one was introduced, I think they were just there to make up the numbers.
Yeah, probably. I know, but you're right. There was like some specky old woman sitting down at a table. It's like, I've never seen you before.
That's what I mean. I don't like that, though. That kind of annoys me. It's like if you're watching Sons of Anarchy and Clay's like, right, I want a big meet tonight. I want everyone at the table. And then there's like Sam crew members that you've never seen before.
This first 10 guy sits down.
And you're in episode 10. You've got a bunch of like Sam crew guys sitting at the back of the table. And you're like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I just think if you were going to have these, even if they're not like prominent characters, even if they've been...
If it was just no, but it's the fact it's like a survival horror apocalyptic thing, it's you need to know who you've got.
Yeah, and but we get a bunch of random characters here for whatever reason. Jade says, right, he's off. He calls Jim Teacup again. Then Julie chases after him, says, stop calling my dad Teacup. And then there's like some sort of awkward conversation where Jade's like, oh, you're doing this whole father-daughter, I need to stand up for my dad thing. Jade's like a weird character. I like him, but
narrates everything.
He has like no like people communication skills.
Nope.
He's a bit like Victor. Maybe him and Victor should team up.
Yeah, Victor's like the other end of the spectrum, while he's the other end.
Yeah, they're both on opposite ends. We then see Kenny and Christy. They are stripping the ambulance to get more wire. Kenny has this globe lighting thing with him that he says he used to have while he was in college, and when they got here into the town at night, sometimes he would just look around the globe and pick out places that he wanted to go when he escapes here. Christy tells him that's pretty cool. She looks at the list of places he's written down. She goes through them. She stops at Iceland and she likes it. She thinks it's a good choice. Kenny's like, why, have you ever been? She's like, no. She said she was never much of a traveller. She didn't really get out of, was it Massachusetts or Manhattan or
some shithole,
Grand Rapids or some. Basically,
Colorado Springs, maybe.
Colorado Springs. Basically, she says, "Look, I've never really got out of my hometown. Basically, that's as far as she's travelled to." She jumped on a bus, and the bus.
Your hometown here, though.
The bus went to maybe 10 miles down the road, and then it stopped. Kenny's like, "Well, maybe." We can go to Iceland together then when we escape from here. Christy doesn't seem too keen on the idea. Kenny is really bad at reading the situation, so he tells her instead of Iceland we can go somewhere else, and she's like about that, and then she says, look Kenny, I'm engaged, and he basically apologises, and he is like, right, okay, sorry, my bad, I shouldn't have brought it up, please forgive me, I'm going to go and get the rest of the wiring, and he takes off. So, what's your thoughts on her basically like rejecting Kenny's advances? Because
we could say rejecting his advances. I think there wasn't any proper intent here for Kenny. It was what we'll go to Iceland here. We're making light of the fucking situation when it wasn't like, here, this is 110% happening. I've booked first class tickets to Iceland. I didn't get that sort of vibes for it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think she went OTT on it.
It's a bit weird though, because Christy seems to be like the only person that is really holding on to something that's on the outside world. And I know Julie mentioned like the first thing she wants to do when she gets home is like text her friends or whatever.
But that's a load of pish.
There's no one that really else that is like holding on to whatever they had back in the real world. Everyone's kind of just acting as if that's gone.
Maybe that's just a part of your story arc.
Whereas she still believes... How do we know that everyone else isn't dead?
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a valid point.
But yeah, so Kenny then is basically kind of...
But then again, the fact people showed up at different points, that would kind of go against that.
Yeah, but anyway, she rejects him because she's already engaged, so Kenny didn't take that too well, he left. Then we got Ellis. He proposed to Fatima. Well, it's a dodgy name, how am I supposed to know?
And you know what, he goes through the whole scenario about how she got here and he looked at her and all this good stuff, but I don't know, this just doesn't sit right with me, the fact she's making out with random people at the colony house and he's just fucking dropped the one knee.
Also, do you think Ellis always looks a bit stoned?
Yeah, he does. He always looks like it.
Well, maybe that's because maybe it's a gimmick. Maybe because he's in the colony house, that's what they're actually going for. Like, look there. You tell me he's not stoned.
They actually picked a really good actor for someone of Boyd and his wife's child, I think. It actually looks like both of them. And like the tone's like fucking right on the money. But anyway, I don't like Fatima's wife material.
You don't?
No.
You don't?
No, I say he does look stunned. He looks like a fucking turtle on crack, but...
Yeah, so you don't think... I know, but is it possible now that he has proposed to Fatima? Maybe she is going to stop going around kissing random girls. Maybe she's going to stop going around feeling up Julie and giving her feeling clothes.
Maybe she should just say, well, he's the person I'm married to, rather than he's just the person.
Yeah, anyway, I thought, the colony house is weird. It's all...
No, but see to this point, right, we're at the finale of the season 1. I never got the vibe that these two were, like, fucking dead serious about each other till this fucking scene.
Yeah.
So to me, this just came forced.
I think that's because it's the colony house, though, isn't it?
Maybe he's just saying this because he thinks his dad's going to die. He's like, well, I'll just marry her then.
Yeah, maybe he needs to get someone else. So I don't know, but I guess we'll see. We then go back out into the woods, and Boyd is hearing voices. He hears like a woman calling his name, so he runs deeper into the spider webs. He has to like kind of claw his way through the spider webs, so he's like pushing them open as if they're curtains. And I mean, I just couldn't imagine doing this. I fucking hate spiders and spider webs.
Like, I don't mind wee spider webs getting on me, but these are thick.
Yeah, these are
like cotton candy.
Yeah, so then he approaches this person that's like at the end. She's like kind of stuck to a tree, and it turns out it's his wife, and she's like cocooned in a spider's web, but of course it's not his wife, it's just like a figment of his imagination. Her hand reaches out and grabs Boyd, but Boyd manages to pull back. However, he starts scratching himself like crazy, and there's spiders all over him. Some pretty big spiders, and they look like weird spiders. They're kind of like they look like ants or something, or scorpion spiders.
Yeah.
Or beetle spiders. They looked weird. I think beetle. I'm going to stick with beetle spiders.
Chubby tarantulas.
Yeah, so...
chubby tarantulas that weren't quite as big as tarantulas, but still decent
So,
size.
Boyd has to take his shirt off. He's trying to pick these tarantulas off him, or these spiders, whatever they are. And then after about 15 seconds of watching him struggle, Sarah's like, oh, I'll help you with that one.
And takes one off.
And she takes one.
If it was me, I'd have fucking fly kicked it. I wouldn't have touched it with my hand.
I'd have got a flamethrower. Be like, Kyle, Sons of Anarchy, give him back. Turn around, Kyle.
You should have got that inked out, buddy.
Yeah, so that happened to Boyd, and he's got a couple of spider bites on him. We then see that he's not really reacting well to this. So are these special spiders? Have they done something to Boyd?
I wouldn't say they're specials. I don't know what type of spiders they are, but again, most spiders, especially in America, if you do get bit, you will feel nauseous and all that shite. So,
yeah, but Boyd he doesn't seem himself. He seems like fatigued, or he's struggling to even like stand and walk at this point. He keeps telling Sarah that she needs to go on herself and go without him, but she is sticking by him. You know, she's not leaving Boyd behind, which I guess is good after she killed a shitload of people. The least she can do is try and save Boyd here. So
yeah, exactly. Damn it, we're on a quest together, brother.
That works for me, but yeah, Boyd not in good shape. We then see back at the colony house, they erect the power tower. That's what I'm going to call it, the power tower. The power tower.
The tower of power.
But Jade takes off. Then he goes back to Kenny's house, and he has like a heart-to-heart with Kenny's mum. And I'm not going to lie, I would need to rewatch this scene, because I'm not too sure what it was about. But Kenny's mum was praying.
I know what it's about. Basically, he's on about that his aunt died when he was in, or his aunt or granny when he was in France, and he had to go back to America. But she always stuck with him, and no matter when people die, they always stick with you. So he's basically saying your husband will always be with you.
So you think it was a connection they had?
Aye.
Fair enough.
But it's weird that for this character, all of a sudden, just went like that, for not showing one bit of emotion to like telling her about this.
Yeah, and then he kind of sits down and starts praying with her. So, yeah, I mean, looks like Jade's not an arsehole after all.
And then he brings food to the colony house.
Yeah,
you have lettuce, you have carrot, you have everything, peas.
Yeah, but there's no peaches, so Victor still isn't anywhere to be seen.
What is Victor?
we still haven't seen Victor. Has anybody seen?
Like trees are like the trees at Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, kinda. Has anybody seen Victor? He then walks in and he gives some more food to the background characters that we've never seen before that are trying to. I don't know what they're doing, but I guess they've all got like individual jobs that they need to like try and power up the lights or something. They're all like working the lights to generate power, so that's what they're doing, the electricity. He tells them, right, everybody be on guard, don't fuck this up, anyone who messes this up is spending the night in the box. Donna's like, no one's spending a fucking night in that box. And then Jade runs upstairs and he rings the bell for the colony house about 10 million times, and even when he's almost getting us home, I think he still rubs people the wrong way.
Absolutely, he does. That's the sort of guy Jade is.
Back in the kitchen, we see Kenny and Christy. Christy says that she's stuck in two minds. One part of her wants to, get out of here and get back together, meet her engaged partner. And Kenny's like, what's the other part you want to do? She says she wants to go to Iceland with the most amazing man she's ever met. Kenny's like, that's two good options to have. But Kenny should be like, just be honest, like, fuck that other person, take my option.
Iceland.
Iceland.
Let's go shopping at Iceland.
But, like, isn't Kenny a better option here because he's right here, right now? If we're being honest, like, there is no guarantee, like, I get what she's going for, but she's holding on to something that might not happen.
Fuck knows what the world's like when you get it.
Whereas Kenny's literally...
that person's dead.
Kenny's literally right there, right now.
Exactly.
I know they can't go to Iceland, like, but they could... Yeah, plus he did get a promotion, so that makes him a bit more appealing. So then the tower's up and Jim starts... They all start celebrating, even though they haven't tried to get a connection yet, but they put the radio on. And they've got a signal.
But the rain.
Well, we don't really see the rain yet, but Tabitha...
The fucking clouds are coming, alright?
The clouds are coming. Tabitha's like, right, I need to go and keep digging, plan B, she calls it. Then we see in the forest, we've got Officer Sheriff Boyd and Sarah, and they can like see... They see like they see the darkness, starts raining heavily in the forest, and then they manage to climb a hill and they look and they see this, what I can only describe as like a lighthouse, I guess. What would you describe it as, a lighthouse?
Yeah, it's definitely a lighthouse, which is weird.
Or a big tower with a massive light on top of it.
Yeah, it's definitely... It's a lighthouse to me.
It's a lighthouse, so they see that, and it's kind of a big reveal. Back down,
but what could this be for?
There's no ships or anything, so can it really be a lighthouse?
It could maybe be for ships.
I mean, I don't think that's the big question. Obviously, look at where this town is. I suppose there's nothing really in this town that you'd be like, wow, that can't be there.
So what do you think this lighthouse is for, or whatever? What do you think it's for? What's the purpose of this thing? Does someone live in it?
Possibly.
Is this to spot people for the monsters?
Possibly.
But I'll not contradict, but I'll prove everything wrong in a minute. But you continue the rest of the episode.
Alright, you got to prove everything wrong at the end of this review?
No, after someone responds on the radio, I'll get stuck in.
Alright, okay, so Jim is on the radio, he's changing channels, he's changing frequencies, he's like, hey, can you read me? We need help. Mayday, mayday. No one's answering, the rain's coming down. We can see that the clouds are getting dark. There's a storm coming in. Donna's like, look, we need to pack this up. Jim's like, no, we need 10 more minutes. She's like, at least get the kid inside. So Donna then tells Ethan to go inside, go into the colony house. And then Donna is taking over. She's going to help Jim then while Ethan is inside. And he's about to pack it up. He's about to give in. Jim can't get through to anybody. He is about to call it a day and put all the equipment away. But then someone responds. And he goes, are you there? Then Jim can't believe it. Jim's like, oh, we need help. Everyone's like shocked. They're like, we need help. We need help. we're stuck here. I think Jim doesn't really know what to say, though. He's kind of, and what do you say?
I think he was in total disbelief it worked.
Yeah, but before he can really figure out what he's going to say, the other voice in the radio says, "Is this Jim?" He's like, "What? How do you know my name?" He went, "Is this Jim Matthews?" And Jim's like kind of starstruck, and then the voice in the radio tells him, "Hey Jim, you know your wife. She really shouldn't be digging."
Oh shit!
Then this causes Jim to think, "What the hell?" He freaks out, tells Donna to look after the son. He sprints home to his house, where obviously Tabitha was digging. Back at the house though, before Jim can get there, basically the floor kind of just falls through.
She gets to the bottom, essentially.
Yeah, she's at the bottom, and then the floor just kind of falls through, and she falls into... I guess she was already in the basement, so... what would we even call this?
It's like a cave system.
Sort of like a cave, and then we see a light coming behind her. Is it the monsters? No, it's Victor. Victor's been in the cave. He's been looking for his peaches. Has he found any yet? We don't know.
No, actually, I thought this was like the Game Masters or something. It's like, you found it. But then it was Victor.
So then Victor points out the drawings on the walls, and he's like, they like to draw too. So by that, does he mean the monsters? Does he mean the monsters like to draw too? Or who else can he mean?
But say he does mean them, and they live down here. The fuck's going on?
And it's almost night.
Exactly, so...
Wow.
Unless because it is almost night, they're up there, and they're only down here during the day.
And even if they are down there, can they still like operate during the day, or do they sleep during the day, or can they kill you can they like actually move and operate during the day as long as they're not like in direct sunlight? Is it something to do with that, or
yeah, I'd be interested
or do they only come alive? Do they only come awake at night time?
Because maybe we could see something like vampires where UV light hurts them. That could be used as a weapon.
Maybe Sarah and Boyd, or Boyd's pretty much done at this point. You know, it's getting dark. He's like, leave me. But Sarah then spots the boy in white, and the boy in white is giving advice to Sarah. It's like, you need to come with me. So Sarah's like to Boyd, look, we need to come here. Boy in white points to the faraway tree. Sarah then tells Boyd, you need to get in here. Boyd doesn't really want to go, but Sarah pushes him into the faraway tree, and then Boyd comes out in like some sort of like trapped. It looks like a well without any water.
It's a chimney.
A chimney?
It's not a well. Well, it could be a well, but to me it's rectangular shaped, which is a chimney.
Oh, true. It could be a chimney. Yeah, so I guess it's a chimney then, but he's trapped there, and it looks like it's pretty high, so God knows how he's going to get out. We know it's dark now. Is he in danger? We don't even know where he is, so is he in danger of the monsters? Can they even get to this part? Even if they did see him, would they be able to get down there?
Well, see, this is... Well, I think they would, but they'd probably break their neck in the process, but they are weird things. But, right, this is my point, right? So, obviously, whoever's talking to Jim knows where his wife is. We knew the father, Preachy, whoever his name was, they saw him burying the stuff, and they were speaking to Sarah about all this stuff that they knew. So, if they know where people are all the time, then how couldn't they find people when they were like buried in the ground?
What?
But what do you not get about that?
The fight, yeah.
Are the voices not the monsters?
Maybe not.
So who's talking to Jim? Saying, oh, your wife shouldn't be doing that, Jim? That has to be the monsters. Or is that the guy, is there some nonce sitting in the lighthouse?
Oh, does it have to be the monsters? Because Sarah says that there's voices saying that there's things worse than the monsters.
But what are the things worse than the monsters?
Could it be the monsters?
The monsters.
Could it be
My name's Dusty Rhodes, player.
Maybe the guy talking to Jim?
But see, I don't know, there's like something fucking bigger at play here. What's worse than the monsters? The person...
Also, would the monsters really be able to talk to Jim during the day?
But who's talking to Jim? How could someone possibly know that his wife's in the basement? Unless it's the monsters, and I feel like they could operate like that.
It would be the same person that maybe knew Father Carter was burying his stuff, but again, that was in the day.
But how would he know that? The voices make sense, but how would this guy, or maybe this is just the voice operating via radio? Maybe he's not even a real person.
But it's not a real person, but it knows things are happening.
Aye, like the voices, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say these monsters are real people. They're monsters.
I'd say they're based on real people.
Aye, that doesn't mean they're real people.
Alright, fair enough. Boyd then is trapped here, and that looks like it's a good night for him.
Well, who do you think's on the phone or the radio to Jim? If you guess it, fucking boom. Who is it?
I don't know.
Oh no, fuck, you have to guess, mate. It's not I don't know. For once in your life, take a fucking opportunity.
I think there could be somebody else here, because Sarah said there's things here, there's people here, or I don't know if it's people or things, but she says there's things here worse than the monsters.
And what's that? Talking rocks? Talking trees?
Maybe there's bad people.
Bad people? Fuck, I like bad people, man. I'm not buying that. That was a piss answer. I don't know who it is, but you know what? It's worse than bad people. Oh, the bad man.
It's worse than bad people. Then we go back to the diner, and again we see the radios come on, and in the background we see a bus arrive in the town. So it just pulls up at the diner, kind of stops in front of the diner, and that is where the episode ends, guys. So that is your episode 10, season 1 finale.
A bus appearance there, for you're probably going to get like, what, 20 characters, 12, 15, that region. Some people get killed off, but like, it goes back to the point of earlier. Why do we need to introduce all these like background characters when you're going to introduce a bus full of people to start season 2?
Yeah, I didn't really get that, but it is what it is. And again,
that just makes the extras look worse.
And is there anything to do with the timing of this bus? Like, Colony House literally lost 14 people. Then if you add Falacatri,
maybe that's 15. Talking to Jim.
Maybe there's going to be about 15 people on this bus. Could it be some sort of like weird quota thing where if somebody dies, they have to be replaced by someone else? I mean, could that be a thing?
It could be.
Or has this bus just randomly appeared at this time? It is pretty close to being dark. There's nobody right now, apart from Jim, that is in the town. So, I mean, what are these bus people going to do? Are they even going to survive? Or it's time's running out for them. It's almost dark. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this bus load of people.
Bus could either survive, or the entire bus could literally get wiped out and you've got one person left.
Yeah, so we will see what happens. Lots of questions to be answered here. Is Boyd going to make it? I mean, what happened to Sarah?
He's making it. He's top, man.
The boy in white, well, we learn more about him. Can Victor and Tabitha get out of that cave underneath the houses that they're in? What is happening to the people in the Colony House and the storm? What if the storm destroys their radio tower? Will they have the equipment to rebuild another one? Lots of questions, guys, to answer as we go into season 2. We'll have some theory vids coming out. We'll have some list vids as well. We'll be ranking all the characters. We'll be ranking all the deaths. And we'll be ranking all the episodes from season 1. But that's going to do it for now. Final thoughts on season 1. And what would you give season 1 as an overall rating? Now, we're not asking you to add up all the episodes and divide them by 10. I just mean, like, overall, what would you rate the season out of 10? As a season overall.
I'll give it a 7.5.
I was thinking around 7.5. I don't know if we allowed to give 7.5, so...
Yeah, I'll get an 8. You give it a 7. Boom, 7.5.
Oh, there you go. 7. I think 7.5's fair.
I feel like the plot's very good, right? But I do think in some cases it is maybe... I think it's going to get to a point, maybe it's season 3 or 4, where the entire plot is lost what it was going for originally.
Do you think this is the type of show that can go 3 or 4 seasons, though? Because, like...
Do you not think what makes this show's the mystery, though? I feel like the more you reveal, the worse it will get.
Well, maybe they'll just have maybe they won't reveal much.
I think, like I said, it's very, very similar to Lost. Of course,
I just don't
Big
see
Harold was on Lost. I feel like he's going to want to right some wrongs. And has he done that so far? I'd say so. But do you not think a lot of this stuff's like when the cat gets out the bag, it's like, well, that's a bit shite?
Yeah, so you think that the less they reveal, the better the show's going to be?
Yeah. I do genuinely think that. I think things like concepts like that are better when it's like it's revealed like in the last ever episode with like 15 minutes to go, rather than here it's revealed halfway through the show and you get 3 seasons of them like, haha, remember we didn't know all this stuff, big man.
Well, we'll find out, guys, what gets revealed in season 2. That's it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We will catch you in the next one. And of course, until then, we've been Fog Entertainment. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.